So the ultimate goal for us is to create a more seamless, transparent and customer-focused travel experience, while at the same time remaining a leader for innovation in the travel industry.
Hi Lars.
Hi Anke.
Thanks for coming to our second Travel and Chain event here on Mallorca, beautiful Mallorca, and for taking the time to talk with us about Web3 and travel.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Just as a starter, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Of course, yes. So I'm Lars Schöning. I'm the Business Development Manager for Ecosystem Monitoring and Blockchain at Lufthansa Group's Digital Retailing Department.
That sounds really good title. And from our side, it's of course, what we observe is that you have the position to coordinate all blockchain activities within the group, right? Yes. So that's really good. So what do you see? How would you describe the general strategy of Lufthansa Group within Web3 and travel?
We want to leverage it to enhance our operation from several aspects. So the ultimate goal for us is to create a more seamless, transparent and customer-focused travel experience, while at the same time remaining a leader for innovation in the travel industry.
So how do we approach in the group, how do you approach new developments? How do you organize within the company?
In order to do that, we try to always be quite collaborative. We want to have an adaptive mindset and be proactive when it comes to these topics. So for Web3, I would say it's really important to have the customer centricity and innovation as one of the core values of everything that we do.
So how do you see Web3 technologies improve certain pain points within the organization or in the collaboration with partners perhaps, or potentials that you can now leverage with the technology at hand?
Yes, we want to build a more direct strategic partnership network with a focus on transparency on the one hand side, but also helping us to streamline processes and to just improve operations.
Okay, so you're talking about collaboration also with partners across the group, perhaps also outside the group.
And also outside the group, because I think it is quite important to explore this together, just to harness synergies and in order just to learn with our partners and also within the group.
Yeah, so in my opinion, really, blockchain is a collaborative technology. And I love the saying, blockchain is not a me technology, it's a we technology. And I think that's what happens at Lufthansa. Can you give us any examples of use cases perhaps where you're already starting to work with partners?
Yes, one example for a use case within the group is our project Uptrip. Here you can collect NFT trading cards, and this was developed by our Miles & More loyalty program in-house in collaboration with the Lufthansa Innovation Hub. It's quite exciting, so our passengers, when they're flying, they can collect several trading cards, and the collections can be different airplane types or locations. And by amassing an amount of collections, they can then use this to redeem rewards such as Wi-Fi or, for instance, business class lounge entrance. And I think this is a really nice extension to our classical Miles & More loyalty program, because it speaks to a different kind of audience, quite tech-savvy people. And it's also just it's a nice way to try out the new technology.
Yeah, that's what we see. It speaks to new generations coming who are more tech-savvy, as you said. Yeah. And also shows the potential of blockchain and Web3 in creating extensions of loyalty programs, as we saw with Etihad, for example, and also new kinds of incentivization for customers. Or on the tracking side, it could be also used to track the performance of customers as well, right?
Indeed, yeah. And also it gives the opportunity to further scale this idea in the future and bring it to other areas. Also, another project where we're currently working with an external partner on an idea is the hackathon. You probably have heard of it,
Yes,
where we
absolutely.
where you're also part of it, of course, and where we are looking at a new innovative way of invoicing the purchasing of sustainable aviation fuel.
Yeah.
And here we work together with Dare Touristic, and within the hackathon, 4 teams were kind of competing against each other to work out a solution, how we can improve our internal process, because again, at the moment, it's a bit clunky and lengthy. And thanks to the Web3 technology, we really hope to improve this process here, make it more transparent also for us to track the use of SAF. And after this first successful hackathon, I hope we soon can look at a potential implementation of one of the solutions that were.
And I think it's really remarkable that because that hackathon solved real problems, because SAF is very expensive to sell, and on the other hand, it's very difficult to track for both partners that are not in one group. So I think the developers did a good job within 3 days, actually, with the coaching of course, Chain for Travel and other partners to propose solutions with, I think, kind of also new loyalty program, loyalty program for customers to push sustainable fuel. Right? Do you think that hackathons is a good way to move faster, to experiment faster within that area?
I would say so, definitely, yes. Because on the one hand side, it's really fun, and the part of competing is of course quite there's a bit of a challenge, and people are more motivated to try out something. Because I think one of the problems of Web3 is still that people are not 100% sure what is happening, how does it work, and they're a bit hesitant. But then just hackathon, that way, is just a playful approach to it, where you can really, as you can see now with our hackathon, get quite good results in a short time.
And it plays to the community approach, right? So of blockchain, right? So we had like chat tools, etc. So the communication was really transparent, and for all members of the competition at the same time visible.
Yes. I think the community approach is generally quite important when it comes to Web3 technologies, because if you think of the travel industry being one of the largest industries with lots of sensitive data around, this is really an opportunity for us to share this data within the network of a jointly governed blockchain, for instance. Yeah.
I think that it's quite important that we have a technology now at hand where we can safely share data along the customer journey to service the customer better, right? We have so many disruptions, so we could use that technology to actually remedy, for example, disruptions, right? So the customer would be a bit better served to get their vouchers, they get a compensation, or
And obviously not only in the B2C, but also in the B2B space, where quite often there's a bit of lack of trust, and I just feel that this technology helps us to overcome that.
I think that's a very important point coming out of Corona. That was not easy in the industry. I think it's great to have now a technology at hand to improve. And as we know that there is always after crisis is before a crisis in the travel industry. So we can actually use that technology to prepare better, and especially in the case of disruptions, serve the customer better. Yeah. Let's speak a little bit more about the community approach that we have. Camino is a community-based project, it's a consortium. So the members of the consortium will decide together about important steps for the development of the Camino network, and also about the transaction fees, which is ultimately very important for the travel industry. So how do you see the opportunities and the challenges of such an approach?
Maybe let's start with the challenges. The challenge that I see there, on the one hand side, is the regulatory concerns that we are still having, because obviously it's a new technology, and there is not too much guidance yet from governments, so it is a bit of an exploratory field to find out how do we deal with things, how do we deal with transactions, how is it gonna, accounted for. Also, obviously, it takes time to build up the network, as you probably know, to have, active members as well who are really keen to try out and explore. So once we've overcome that, and once there's, enough active
Critical
members
mass,
and the critical mass has been reached, I think the main opportunity is that, again, there are many synergies that we can use together. And when people work together on projects and we improve processes internally or also externally with partners, then the chance is high that the positive word of mouth attracts new other opportunities. And again, it also opens a whole new area for, or when it comes to revenue streams.
Yeah.
Thinking again about the NFT project Uptrip, where we now have unlocked a new customer audience, which otherwise wouldn't have been possible like that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's especially important to experiment there with a project, with a small project can be scaled to actually get to know this new audiences and get a feel for that audience, right? You spoke about regulatory. It's very important. We are in a, I think, privileged position in Europe that we are quite advanced with the regulation when it comes to crypto assets. There are other, of course, regions where they are still trying to progress when we think about the States, of course, and you are the global company, so you need to have that security in every region of the world. But from my experience, we, technically can always find a workaround with software as a service, for example, or the use of custodial wallets of a supplier that already has the license to do so. So I think it's kind of, when we're looking back to the introduction of the internet, it wasn't regulated, so it came along the way. However, I think it's great that Lufthansa already moves, because when you look at the great companies today of the internet era, they all started when it was not regulated, and they tried. So I think it's Lufthansa has been around such a long time, but still you are in that area and innovating. Yeah.
I mean, it is definitely an advantage if you think back of the beginning of the internet area, that with the Web3 technology, the infrastructure is already there.
Exactly.
So at least we can start building on existing,
on the existing infrastructure, just put the blockchain infrastructure on top of it. The connection is already there, right? Do you think that will help so we move much faster?
It would definitely help, but again, it is also quite important to convince critical minds of the real benefit of the technology.
So now you have that position in the Lufthansa Group to coordinate all activities. I think it's very fruitful because then you can draw connections within the group, but also external, and it's getting so creative. We're talking about a lot of use cases, right? So what is your personal reception of your job, actually? And Web3?
Yeah, I've been quite interested in the Web3 technology from the beginning, just because it's disruptive, and I find it interesting how it can change whole industries. If you think of banking, how that has changed recently, it has been a drastic improvement thanks to the Web3 industry. And again, I see there a lot of potential for our area as well. And given my department is the innovation area of the digital air retailing, it's part of my DNA, obviously, to be interested in what's coming, what are new technologies that we can work with, and also the awareness for the challenges and thinking how to overcome it, not only the regulatory challenges, but also the environmental ones. But then if you look at the improvements of Web3 with the very first blockchains just being proof of work and now proof of stake, which increases the which improves the sustainable point of view and footprint a lot.
So I read that that the proof of stake mechanism is 99.9% less energy consumptive than the proof of work. So I think that's a progress, and we see how fast we are progressing with the technology, and there are new elements are coming out, like zero knowledge proofs, for example, where you as a customer you can actually protect your personal data, and nobody needs to know when your birthday is. It's just that they need to know, you're old enough to travel, for example. So that's coming. That's great. So Lars, what are your personal predictions for the future development in this area?
So I think predicting the future of Web3 with certainty is it's not quite possible. But if you think of all the innovation and trialing and testing that is happening and slowly picking up, I would say there is quite a lot of potential for this technology to become more and more relevant and to really change the way how we approach and work with digital technology and systems in the future.
So very exciting that we share the same passion. Thank you so much, Lars, for being here and talking with me about Web3 and travel.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to the rest of our conference.
It will be a great conference. Thank you.